Hi everybody, I wanted to make a really quick video about thoughts and feelings and whether they can be trusted. So I've just come back from a night out, my voice is a bit croaky again, but I wanted to get this video recorded whilst this idea was fresh in my mind, because I got thinking about if we have a situation in our life where whether it's a relationship or a job or a friendship or any situation, any area of our life where our thoughts and feelings are very up and down and very changeable, well then, does that mean that the thoughts and feelings are real enough to be trusted? Because we all have different feelings and thoughts and, I think we should always accept our feelings, but also allow for the fact that, sometimes, so we can be in a certain mood and then it can produce certain thoughts and then it kind of causes a spiral. So, for example, if you're in a bit of an angry mood, you're going to have angry thoughts. You're feeling angry, so then you're going to maybe have some negative thoughts. You're going to actually start thinking about other situations in your life that make you angry. You might think about things from the past. And then suddenly, because you're having these thoughts, it's making your feelings of anger worse. So it's kind of like a spiral. So what I was thinking about was that, can we really trust our thoughts and feelings? Are they really an accurate indicator of whether a situation in our life is a good or bad situation? And I'm not disregarding gut instinct, because gut instinct is so important. And since I started using my gut, which trusting your gut is basically just about having confidence in yourself and not worrying about what other people think. Once you kind of get those two things sorted in your mind and you just become that person who trusts yourself to make a decision, things generally, big things start happening in your life. That's what I found. So things move very, very quickly in my life now because I make decisions for me. I don't have to go through the path of, I might talk to other people and I might, I trust other people enough to get their opinion maybe, but I don't need somebody's approval in order to make that decision that's right for me. So, so can our thoughts and feelings be trusted? Because what the enlightened people will tell you, people like Dr. Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle, and people like the Dalai Lama, they live life to a huge extent in the moment. They'll, so present mindedness is the goal, rather than living in your head and reacting to your thoughts and your feelings. So what enlightened people believe, and actually what makes complete sense, is that the only real thing we have in our life is now. It's the present moment, because everything that's happened up until now in your life is just a thought. It's in your head. Because you can't get hold of it, you can't go back to it, you can't bring it, you can't get a hold of it, you can't make it real, if that makes sense. So everything that's happened up until now is now a thought. It's a memory, visualizations, it's all thoughts, it's non-form. You can't get a hold of it. And then everything that's going to happen from now on in your life also isn't real yet, until you're in the moment, because you can't get hold of that. So you might think about the future, you might think about what you're going to have for dinner, you might be planning something for a year's time, you might be planning a holiday, you might be planning what you're going to do the next day, but it isn't real, it's just a thought. So the only real thing that you have is now, the moment now. That's the only real thing you have, because everything in the past isn't real, everything in the future isn't real, because you can't get a hold of it. So if we're going down the idea of the only real thing is now, then can our thoughts and feelings ever really be trusted? because again, they're not real. It's just a thought, it's just a feeling. Do we allow those thoughts and feelings to dictate what's going to happen in our life? Do we allow those thoughts and feelings to take us on a roller coaster? You know, because if you think about, you know, say somebody with bipolar, and a lot of people have it to some degree, and a lot of people have, let's say, a lesser form of it. Let's say most human beings who are on a kind of average scale of emotions, you know, you have various, you know, personality charts, and you know, you have mood disorders and things like that. Let's say a huge majority of people are fairly emotional, particularly women. Let's say most human beings are fairly emotional. You're going to get the extremes of people who don't particularly have a huge emotional range, and you're going to get people at the other end who are hugely emotional. Let's say they are bipolar, or, you know, manic depressive and that kind of thing. Well, let's take the extreme. If you take someone who's manic depressive, okay, and that person is suicidal one week and then walking on air the next, how do you measure their life? How do you measure how things actually are for them? How do you measure somebody who is at their lowest point one week and at their highest point the next week, and then they're back down low and then up and back? So you look at that person's life, and how do you measure if their life is actually any good? Is their life working for them? Is it any good? It's hard to know, because they're up, down, up, down, up, down. So it's the same with anything. If our emotions are so up and down and so changeable, then how do we really know whether life's working? You know, so all we really have is the now. All we really have is our decisions and trusting our gut instinct, making decisions, moving ourselves forward, doing the things that make us happy. That's what I believe, and that's what I wanted to talk about. So let me know, guys, in the comments box. You don't have to give me any details if you don't want, but let me know if you have situations in your life where your thoughts and feelings are very up and down, and you're having trouble gauging, you know, is this situation working for me? How do I know what I really feel when my emotions are so up and down? You know, so I honestly believe that, you know, all we have is the now. And of course, we're going to have some degree of anxiety, or thinking about the future, or thinking about the past. But I think we need to accept that we have emotions and feelings, and always accept them, and pay attention to them, and give them some attention, and look after ourselves and respect ourselves. But also accept that we're always going to have emotion, you know, negative emotions, positive emotions. But with the areas in our life, I think what's important is not just listening to our emotions, but also making decisions and trying new things and moving forward, and acting in a caring way for ourselves. So rather than just reacting to an emotion, thinking, right,